Hi everybody, I am Lindsay Gray and I am a Star Diamond coach with Beachbody. I am here today a little bit to tell you about how to tell your story and why it's important to tell your story as a coach. Everyone's heard the term facts tell, stories sell, and it couldn't be more true. You can tell someone a fact and they're going to say, oh, okay, cool. But when you tell your story and they're able to relate to you and the struggles you've gone through and you're vulnerable, it helps them to realize why they could do it too. A lot of times when you tell a fact, they don't see that they have the potential and the strength and the determination to do it just as much as you do, because you say the struggles that you went through and you show them that it's possible. A simple fact can't show them that it's possible. So what you want to do is tell your story, and you're going to tell it multiple times in different ways. Your story could be something that is huge, right? You're going to have a financial story, you're going to have a physical story, and you're going to have a mental story. Telling your story isn't always telling the whole thing. It's not always telling every part of your story every chance you have. Every single day, you should tell another little piece of your story. What I mean by that is as simple as you went to the grocery store and normally you'd have to go on a budget and you'd have to know exactly how much money you had and how much you could spend on groceries. But this time you went to the store and you were able to buy whatever you wanted without worrying about what your bank account looked like. That's a part of your story. It's a part of your financial story. And this, you can share this with people every single day. I'm going to go through a few things that I learned at Summit this year on how to share your story. So basically, your story is breadcrumbing. You're sharing small pieces of your story to help keep people interested, engaged, and wanting to know more. We call this breadcrumbing because you're dropping breadcrumbs that eventually people will pick up along the way, and eventually they will want to know more, and they're going to come to you, and that opportunity is going to be there for them to ask you the questions and ask you how to get involved. It usually takes people quite a while and quite a few breadcrumbs before they want to know more because they're not ready in their life. It's not about you, it's about them. And that's exactly in this business what you need to do is make sure that you take yourself out of the picture. It's not about you. It's not about your rank. It's not about what you're achieving. It's not about what Success Club number you're hitting. These are all goals that we have set for ourselves, but at the end of the day, what it's about is it's about them. It's about when they're ready. It's about how you can help them, how you can put personal development in front of your coaches to help them overcome things, and about how you can put information in front of your customers to help them achieve their goals. So you want to release the expectation that your business will happen naturally, and what you want to do instead is create opportunity. Release the expectations and create opportunity. No matter what, these are the things you should be doing in your business. You should be inviting and connecting, being products of the product, your personal development. Those are our vital behaviors. We already know that. The other things that you should be doing are posting 2 to 3 times on social media a day with quality content, content that engages people, content that people want to see. They called it show or scroll stopping pictures, photos, information, and share bits of your story. It's not just look at this shake, it looks so yummy, or look at whatever this is. You know, it's look at this is what it's done for me. 10 months ago, I would have never been able to make it up the 1,000 staircase, workout, whatever challenge, but I have been able to do that this time because of this. Share your story, little tidbits. It doesn't need to be huge right now. If you're starting as a new coach, in 1 week you have a story. In 1 week you know how clean eating's changed your life. You know how you feel from Shakeology. You have a story in 1 week about how you feel, your mental transformations. Share these transformations and share them as you go. Make sure you're always running challenge groups. We know this. If you're always running a challenge group and if you're always hitting Success Club 5, your business is naturally going to move. It naturally will if you're doing the activities you need to do. Know your story and tell it well, and tell it real. Be a real person. Make sure you're doing one-on-one calls with your coaches, and if you need to, with your customers, and team calls. Team calls are important as well. Hit Success Club, set and review your calendar, and track your business and review your goals. So a little bit about telling your story. Why do we have to tell our story? We have to tell our story because it shows vulnerability and it shows you're a real person. You could post motivating quotes all day and people will be like, yeah, this person's motivating. I love reading her quotes. But do they want to be a part? Do they connect with you? Do they know the struggles you're going through? Do they know that at night, every night before you want to go to bed, you want to eat a whole roll of Chips Ahoy cookies, but you don't because you drank Shakeology that day and it's helped you overcome that? Or because you save half of your shake for night so that you can have that as your snack and you don't give in to these things that are sometimes bigger than us? Do they know that? No. You need to show vulnerability and you need to show your real self. You need to make yourself relatable because you are relatable. There are people out there, there are tons of coaches, right? And there's only going to be more. We're really just so small right now. Now is the time that you can show people how relatable you are because they may see a coach that they are reading all this stuff about, but then they see you come along and you're showing your story and you're telling and you're being vulnerable and they realize, I can relate to this person. I want to be on their team. I want to learn from them because they're just like me. And I want to join people who are just like me. So make sure that you're being the coach and being the customer and being the example that you want other people to be in your life. Make sure that you're building your self-confidence. And you're doing this through sharing your story. Share it in front of as many people as you can, as often as you can. And it doesn't have to be the big picture. Once again, it's just little pieces of your story. You're just sharing information. It'll help build your confidence, and I promise you it'll help grow your business. What is your Beachbody story? Your Beachbody story is trials that become triumphs, struggles that become your story. Adversity is your advantage, and your mess is your message. Your mess is your message, right? Your struggles, these are your messages, and how you overcame them, you're showing people it's possible. So once again, trials can become triumphs, your struggle into your story, your adversity is your advantage, and your mess is your message. Ask yourself when you're posting, when you're responding to people in one-on-one messages, when you're talking to people, when you're sharing your story, review it before you hit post and ask yourself, can this inspire others? Will this make a difference? And am I being real? Don't make your story up. Don't add something to it because you think that it's going to make it sound better. Be you and share every little piece of who you truly are, every struggle, every little piece of it. Make sure that it's something that if you read it and you didn't know you, that you would want to know you. How you share your story. There's definitely an art to sharing your story. The art is you want to reveal it in chapters, right? You want to reveal it in chapters because what happens when you read a really awesome book and it's a chapter book and it's like 3 inches thick and you're like, how the heck am I ever going to read this, right? And it's really good. You get to one chapter, you want to know more. That's what you need to be to someone. You need to be a novel that is so good they don't want to stop listening. They want to hear the next part. They want to hear what happens next. So start with a simple when, what, and how. Get comfortable with one aspect of your story and share it. And share it all the time. Share it in front of as many coaches as you can. Ask people to listen. Develop several short stories to share with different audiences. And have a clear beginning, end, and segue back to your topic and your point. So when I said start with a simple what, when, what, and how, you're going to say something like your quick 30-second story, right? Before Beachbody, this was my life. When I joined, this happened. I used this, and this is how. Make sure you're just keeping it simple. At first it's going to be long, and then you're just going to shorten it down to those points that are moving, to those points that matter. How to share your story. You want to make sure that you don't strive to be perfect. No one is perfect. We're all human. Just because you're a coach doesn't mean you know everything. You definitely don't want to act like you do. You want to not strive to be perfect because perfect is boring and robotic and boring. You want to be okay to share about your success. You're not bragging, you're sharing about your success, because behind that success came how many struggles and how many times did you fail, but you finally succeeded, and now I'm going to share it with you. Don't omit the part how you got there. Share your success and share how you got there. Not, hey, I just achieved 1-star diamond. Well, how did you get there? How long did it take? What did you overcome? What did you learn about yourself? What did you have to do to get there? How'd you grow you? Get comfortable sharing your story often, but not the same story. Share it multiple ways, multiple venues, to multiple people, and share it well. Share it with meaning. Every time you feel like you're starting to sell, it's because you're not being you. Be you. Act like that conversation doesn't really matter. You're just sharing your story. There's nothing at the end. There's no strings attached. You're just sharing. Less is more, and simplicity is key. Be transparent. Share how you're learning from it. And tie the story back to how Beachbody played a part. Going live with your story. When you go live with your story, you want to know your audience, know who you're talking to. If it's one-on-one, know what gem they are. Know what drives that person. Talk and post as if you're talking to one person. If it's a post and it's on your Facebook and it's to public people, act like you're talking to one person, because when someone reads it, they're going to say, wow, it's like she was just talking to me, or he was just talking to me. At Summit this last weekend, Chalene Johnson was on stage and she was telling a story about marriages and everything, and she was basically I felt there were thousands of people in that room, and when I got out of there, I was like, man, I felt like she was talking to me. And one of my coaches said, I felt like she was talking to me too. It was so strong, and she was able to just pretend like she was talking to one person and get it across a lot stronger than if she had been projecting it to thousands at one time. Believe that your story matters, because if it doesn't to one person, it's going to someone else. This is a numbers game. The more people you share with, the more people that are going to be on board. In 10 people, 1 or 2 might be on board, but that's 1 or 2 more people that you wouldn't have reached out to, you wouldn't have got their attention had you not tried. And the other 8 or 9 that didn't then, that's a breadcrumb for them. And 6 months down the road, they may be your 1 or 2 that did jump on board. Be intentional with your story. Be intentional with everything you do. Your posts, be intentional. Be intentional with how you're working your power hour. When you're scheduling your times to work your business, be intentional with those. Don't respond to things that you can't respond to. Don't get on your text messages. Make a list of what you need to achieve in that 20 minutes, that 15 minutes, that hour, and do it. Be intentional. Create opportunities to connect. So now I'm going to give you a call to action. I want you to craft your story. I want you to tell me a story about you. It can be financial, it can be physical, it can be a mental transformation. It could be one of all 3 of them. But I want you to craft your story. I want it to be created in a 1-minute video. It's gonna start longer, and you're gonna have to whittle it down. And when you watch it, you want it to move you, because when it moves you, it's going to move others. Share it with your upline coach, and when you're ready, share it on social media. And when you do, you want to hashtag my BBS, my BB story, my Beachbody story, because they asked us to do that at Summit and share it with thousands of people, and to tag them so they can see it, to hashtag them. So I want you to do the same. So craft that story. Make sure you're telling, before Beachbody, this was my life. This is what I was feeling. This is what I did. This is what I wasn't doing. When Beachbody came into my life, this is what happened. And this is where I am now. It could be physical, it could be mental, it can be emotional, just whatever it is, your story matters. Thanks for listening.